Welcome back, friends. So very glad to have you back after a week of technical troubles that have tied me up. But we're back with a very special Thanksgiving video featuring two of the stalwart precious metals writers and researchers in the world, Bill Murphy of GATA and La Metropole Cafe, and Jeff Nielson of Bullion Bulls Canada. And stay tuned to the end for my personal top pick suggestion for a semi-numismatic government-issued 1-ounce silver coin, which I just bought for myself and I think is an absolute must-have for any collector. And at only $3.99 over spot, you're not going to want to miss out. So here we go.
Bill, welcome back.
Oh, great to be here, Sean, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Well, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, Bill. Nobody has been on these banksters and manipulation in the silver market like you, and I mean nobody. There's guys out there like Jim Willey and James Turk, to be sure, but you're really leading the charge. And one thing I wanted to mention to you is that since Max Kaiser started his Buy Silver Crash JP Morgan campaign, JP Morgan has doubled its short position. What's your take on what we're seeing in the market right now as we move into the holidays?
Well, it's quite the setup because the open interest is just exploding in silver. It was below it was on 98,000 not too many months ago, and now it's over 150,000. It's just a huge increase, and somebody's taking on J.P. Morgan and the big shorts, and it appears it's, in addition to speculators, it's other physical buyers that want the metal, and the market's very tight. Silver's been moving from from London to Asia. We recently had the new Sprott offering for their ETF, which I'm just guessing could just be close to tipping point in terms of the shifting the power to the bulls here, because something's got to give. Silver's been going sideways now for some time, over a pretty big range, above and below 30, and something's going to break big. I think it's up, but it looks explosive to me, and I think you're going to see silver move towards $100 faster than most people think.
And in that same line of thinking, Silver Doctors recently published a must-read article written by SRS Rocco, and that piece was titled "The Forces That Will Push Silver Over 100." And I really wanted to just share this with you real quick. I know you read it, but here's the thing. The takeaway is this. In the dozens of reasons to read this piece, Bill, is this absolute gem. Quote, "The United States has exported more silver bullion in the first 7 months of 2012 than it did in all of 2011, and 42% of that 700 million ounces of physical silver is going to the UK, Bill. Now, it's more likely than not that all of that silver bullion exported to the UK is going there to help stem the tide of the physical silver bullion pouring out of the LBMA.
Yeah, that was an outstanding report, and I think he's correct because their bullion, as I just mentioned, is on its way to Asia. And you very easily could get into a situation in which you have what they call a force majeure, unable to deliver, because the silver is just gone. And of course, this fits right into what God's been saying for years. It's, the silver market's extremely tight. It's only being held by Morgan and these derivatives because they don't really care about silver, but they're petrified of gold going nuts. And if silver went nuts, gold would go nuts. And they're concerned how it could affect the derivatives market and the interest rates. So it's all tied together, and silver is the Achilles heels for these people because we don't think that they have it.
Well, we don't think that they have it. You're right. None of us think that they have it, Bill. And before we let you go, I know you're busy. I just want to ask you a little bit about the coming collapse. Dr. Steve Pieczenik recently said, and I quote, "The greatest national security problem we have is our national debt." Now that we see Timothy Geithner calling for a raise in the debt limit to infinity, what is your take on this fiscal cliff that we're fast approaching?
Well, we kicked the can, just like Geithner's talking about kicking the can with our debt limit. Nobody can really deal with the real problem is that we're living way beyond our means. The money's not there, and we just keep spending and spending, and people are used to it, and the average person doesn't realize really what's happened, and you can blame that on the politicians for allowing this to occur. And as soon as anything is touched, there's howls from everywhere, and people just don't realize it that we're broke. So it's coming, and a protection of insurance away to protect standard of living is to own gold and silver and related investments.
Well, Bill Murphy of GATA and La Metropole Cafe, thanks so much. How do people find La Metropole Cafe and sign up?
You can just go, to LEMETROPOLACIFE.com. You can sign up for a 2-week free trial and see if what I have out there is of interest.
Thank you, sir. Happy Thanksgiving.
My pleasure, and doing a great job. Keep it up.
Well, thanks so much, Bill. We sure do appreciate your time. Guys, now let's turn to our good friend Jeff Nielson from bullionbullscanada.com. Jeff, welcome back.
Hi, happy to be here, and happy Thanksgiving to all your U.S. audience.
Well, thanks so much, and happy Thanksgiving to you up there in Canada, though I suppose you don't celebrate those types of things, huh?
We do, but our turkey's all digested. It was a few weeks ago.
Okay. Well, let's talk briefly. I know we don't have a lot of time, Jeff, but let's talk briefly about your new three-part article, Silver Smoking Guns. You've really laid out the case for suppression here. It's beyond a shadow of a doubt what the criminal banksters have done to physical silver and to the mining shares. What do you want to share from this important three-part article that I want people to go out and read? And I'm going to put these up as you talk briefly about this.
Well, just what you more or less said yourself. I was looking to lay the big picture out there and try and do it in as clear terms as possible. A lot of this stuff I've said before in previous commentaries, but, you try to sort of build incrementally on these things and make, add a few more bricks to your wall each time. And so, I'm just hoping that putting this all together will really help things fall into place for the average reader.
Well, take us through it, will you? I mean, can you recap the suppression schemes for us? For those that still doubt that what's been going on is a criminal cartel scheming to keep the price of physical precious metals, both gold and silver, capped so that this fragile U.S. dollar can somehow continue to be the world's reserve currency. Can you just lay out the scheme for us?
Well, perhaps I should just add the one thing I didn't put into the three-part series, which is the reason for suppressing silver in the first place. Gold and silver are canaries in the coal mine. They are our monetary assets which most directly reflect inflation when bankers are printing too much money. And so if you can suppress the prices of gold and silver, you can make it look like inflation is not much of a problem. And thus we get these ridiculous inflation numbers when, in fact, in the real world, inflation is raging out of control. So you suppress gold and silver and even other commodities to keep those prices down, to make inflation look mute. And then, of course, you can keep going with your paper games much longer.
So, Jeff, before I let you go, I think it's really important to hit on part 3, the market paradox. Now, recently, Brother John F. just did a great video in which he recaps your piece specifically, part 3, Silver Smoking Guns, Market Paradox. And he has such great esteem for you. We all do. I mean, you've really nailed this thing. Why don't you tell people the key takeaways from Market Paradox, your latest?
The easiest thing to point out is simply the grossly disproportionate short position of J.P. Morgan. When the Hunt brothers were charged and convicted of supposedly manipulating the silver market back around 1980, their share of the market was only roughly about 14% of total inventories. And what we're seeing today, and basically over the last decade, is J.P. Morgan sitting with a short position that's double the size of the Hunt brothers' position when they were charged and convicted with manipulating the market. And yet J.P. Morgan is allowed to do this on the short side year after year after year without, anybody laying a finger on them.
Well, J.P. Morgan really is the heart of the criminal cartel, along with Goldman Sachs, along with Timothy Geithner, along with so many of these people, Ben Bernanke. Well, Jeff, final thoughts for us as we move into the Thanksgiving holidays.
We're certainly overdue for a real rally with the metals because of the massive money printing that's been announced on both sides of the Atlantic. Unlimited bond buying by Europe, $500 billion a year of buying Wall Street feces by the Federal Reserve, and that's pure inflation. It's got to translate sooner or later into prices in the real world, and this is a great time for people to be loading up on metals in preparation for that.
Well, Jeff Nielson of Bullion Bulls Canada, thanks for all you do. Thanks for your articulation of these issues. Thanks for putting them in writing for history's sake, because it's all right there in black and white. Guys, check out Jeff's latest. I'll post the links below in the more info section. And Jeff, once again, thanks for joining us. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks a lot, and thanks for giving me a chance to talk about this, Sean. Really appreciate it.
Oh, always a pleasure, Jeff. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, guys, now before we say goodbye, as promised, I wanted to share this one with you. The subject of semi-numismatic bullion coins is one that Brother John, Chris Dwayne, and I have all talked about. Semi-Numi coins are best defined as low mintage coins, and once they're sold out, they're gone forever. There's dozens of fine examples, including the Royal Canadian Mint's Wildlife Series, the Wolf and Grizzly in particular now trade at huge premiums to spot, the Perth Mint's Lunar Series coins, and many others. So in that vein, here's a really special one I just bought over at APMEX. It's part of the 2012 Australian Silver Kookaburra series. It's the 2012 1-ounce Silver Kookaburra Dragon Privy. Now, I own a few rolls of the 2012 kooks, and I can tell you firsthand, these kooks with the exclusive Perth Mint Dragon Privy mark are even more beautiful. And with a total mintage of only 80,000 coins worldwide, you can't go wrong. For only $3.99 over spot, you're getting a government-issued, limited edition, semi-numismatic coin in a sealed container directly from the Perth Mint. And for only $2.50 or $3 more than the cost of a generic silver round, the 2012 kook with Dragon Privy is my pick of the month. Well, as always, thanks so much for watching and sharing, and take care of each other. It's a jungle out there. And for all the latest, please check out sgtreport.com. There's much more to come in the future, so stay tuned. Good night.